Alright, this is going to be a slightly dodgy video, but let's see how we go. Okay, so I'm going to show you factoring by grouping. So what I'm going to do here is look for the things that they have in common. So I'm going to separate them out to these two terms and these two terms. So what do they have in common? They have an m. So then if I divide both terms by m, I get p, and then left over here is q. Same thing here, they both have an n in common, so I'm going to take out n. If I divide them both by n, I'm left with p plus q. So now that the brackets match, now I can rearrange this and make it look slightly different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the outside bits together in a single bracket, and then I'm just going to write the double bracket what's, whoops, I've written it backwards, p plus q, although I suppose it wouldn't have mattered either way. So then I'm just left with two brackets. So if you're not sure that you got it right, you can go back and, oh, actually, you haven't been told to do that yet, ignore that. So really what you're trying to do is just do the first two as a section and the second two as a section. Pull out what's in common and then the brackets should match. If they don't match, you've done something wrong. Go back and try again, but the brackets should match. So then these matching brackets form one single bracket and then the outside bits go together. So let's try that again for this. So same thing, I'm going to have a look at this section and this section separately. So these have more than one thing in common this time. So they both have a 3 in common and they both have an A in common. So I'm going to take out both of those things as common factors. So if I divide this by 3A, I'm left with B. If I divide this by 3A, I'm left with C. Now I'm going to look at this one. What do they have in common? Well, they both have a B in common. So I'm going to pull out a B. B squared divided by B, well, there's one left. BC divided by B is just C. So now that my brackets match, now I can do what I did before. I'm going to put the outside bits together, 3A plus B, and then I'm going to put my double bracket next to it as a single bracket, B plus C. All right, let's try it again. So this time I've got some minus signs, so I have to watch out for those. So I'm going to take out what they have in common. I can divide both of them by 4, and I can divide both of them by A. So then what's left? I have a 2 left here, and I also have a C left. I'm going to do the same thing here. If I divide it by 4, I have -1, so this needs to be a minus. The A is gone, but the B is still there. So let's have a look here. What am I going to take out? Well, they both have B in common. So I'm going to pull out B. Now, I'm actually going to pull out -B because I need this first term here to be 2C. If I pulled out positive B, this would be -2C and they wouldn't match. So because I want them to match, I know that I have to make sure that I pull out a negative. And then B squared divided by -B is -B. Because if I re-expand this, -B times 2C is -2BC. And -B times -B is positive B squared. So if I re-expanded it, I would get back to this stage. So really watch your signs for something like this. It can be a little bit tricky. Okay, so now that I have matching brackets, I can go back to what I was doing before. I'm going to put the outside bits together, 4A minus B, and then I'm going to put my double brackets as a single. All right, so that's the answer to that one. But again, your signs are where it's going to get tricky. If you accidentally did this backwards, let's say that you wrote plus B and -2C plus B. So if I wrote something like that, technically I'm correct in taking out the factors, but then I should notice that actually this bracket no longer matches this bracket. So what I'm going to have to do is change all the signs because I'm basically dividing by -1, right? So if I divide all of this by -1, this is what I end up with. So if you do this step in the middle, that's okay as long as you end up here. I'll just cross it out for now. All right, let's do one more. So what do these two have in common? They both have a 5 in common and an F. So I'm going to take out 5F. Left over, I've got F squared because there's 3 of them and I only took out 1. And if I took out 5F, I've got H left. All right, same thing here. What am I going to take out in common? Well, they both have a G in common. So I'm going to pull out G. I'm left with F squared and an H. And now my brackets match. Fantastic. So I'm going to put my outside bits together, 5F plus G, outside bits, and then I'm going to put my matching bracket. All right, so this is quite a tricky concept. This is factoring by grouping. You'll know it's factoring by grouping when it has 4 terms, right? So that's your little cue. If you've got 4 different terms, then it's going to be factoring by grouping. Okay, let me know if you would like some extra help.